What's up, guys? Hi, it's Jill Emanuel. How you doing? I am hopping on today to talk to you about paying back student loans. So, I recently did an interview with Student Loan Hero, and I was talking to them about what it feels like to make that last payment on a student loan, how to get the job done, right? Because paying back student loans can be a really overwhelming thing and a big thing to tackle. And so we were having a conversation about how to pay them back. How does it feel? What is the emotional toll that it takes on you while you're going through it? And then emotionally, like, how does it really feel at the very end when you finally have that weight taken off of your shoulders? So again, those of you that are just hopping on and you don't know who I am, my name is Jill Emanuel. I'm a financial coach. I help people with their day-to-day spending. I teach them how to be totally kick-ass with their money, hit their financial goals like they are a total kick-ass ninja. And we are talking today about paying back student loans and how to do it, and how to make the overwhelming, daunting task of student loans a little bit more fun. Okay, so one of the things that I definitely think is very important is looking at our money management strategies and the debt that we're paying back. I really think that it's important to make it all a game, okay? Because anything that we're having fun with is going to motivate us, it's going to drive us, it's going to make the ride a whole lot more enjoyable instead of sitting around all day and saying, woe is me, and oh my gosh, I have so much debt and I'm never gonna get out of this, and right? Like, that is not helping the situation. It's not motivating you to take the steps that you need to. It's not driving you to hit your goals faster. So again, we're not going to wallow in the fact that you have student loans, because let's just face it, like, anyone that went to college anymore is pretty much going to have student loans. If you are one of the few that made it out alive without any student loans, like, you're amazing. I wish that I was in that same boat. I did not come out with no student loans. In fact, my husband and I combined had almost $200,000 in student loans. So if you are one of the fortunate that only has 10 or 20 or 30,000 to deal with, count yourself blessed. Be very happy about that, because it's totally a doable, manageable thing to pay off those student loans and to have a little bit of fun while you're doing it. Celebrate your successes. So definitely, you know, we had a 1 year or so where we just really hammered down. It was our major goal was to pay off my husband's master's degree. We had taken out kind of all personal private loans for that. And so we were paying a high amount of interest. We didn't want to have that on our plate anymore. So our goal was to pay that all off. And then my parents had helped me out a lot through college. Those of you who don't know my backstory, I spent 9 years in college. I switched majors multiple times. I did wind up with a doctorate. So, I mean, there's that to be said. But it was a rocky ride financially, for sure. It was a huge financial investment, and my parents did what they could to help me get through that. And in doing so, I owed them about $25,000. So that, combined with my husband's master's program, over the course of about 18 months or so, we said we're going to put everything at it and we're going to get these taken care of, right? So as huge as that was, as overwhelming an amount of money as that was to pay all of that back, like, we were not going to let anything stop us, okay? We wanted to be done. We were laser focused on that goal. We were making it happen. And so, you know, I definitely think that that's what you have to do if you really want to get it gone, right? Because student loans can be there for a very long time. They can be weighing on you. They can be part of your life for 30 years. And that's just, it's a lot. It's a lot of baggage to have to think about and worry about month after month as you're making those payments and thinking, what could I be doing with this money? I remember we went to refinance our house and my student loan was sitting there in the mortgage broker was like, okay, so, and then what is this? Is this like a second home, a rental property? And I was like laughing because I said, no, that's my student loan. So, so yeah, I know the pain of the student loan, and I'm still working on a portion of mine for sure. It was a large amount to get all paid back, but we did pay off in that 18 months my husband's master's degree, all of the loans that we'd taken out for that, and that $25,000 to my parents. And I want to tell you how we made it fun, because normally when you're sitting there saying I'm going to pay back $25,000 to $50,000 in the next year and a half, like that doesn't sound very fun. And in some ways it's not, but so some of the things that we did, I guess, to keep ourselves motivated, was that we tried to kind of turn it into a game or into a race. So what I do with all of my clients is that when we're looking at what their goal is, we are projecting out like, okay, you have this goal. Let's look at what we have coming up. Let's look at what your day-to-day spending is. How are you going to be preparing for the future and hitting that goal faster than ever before? Okay, so that is what we really want to do. And so we are going to project out. We're going to look and say, okay, if this is our plan, these are the steps we're taking, this is the month. This is the month that you are hitting your goal, right? And in the case of student loans, it may be a couple of years. And so we may not necessarily project out the entire length of the loan, but we'll break it into portions of it. We're going to say, you're going to have $5,000 paid off by this date. So we're going to break it up so that it's something that you can visually see, you can wrap your mind around. You're not going to be looking at $100,000 and saying, okay, so in 17 years of me putting this money towards it, like a lot of things are going to happen financially for you in 17 years. So we're not going to do that. But we are going to set a goal that's a little bit big, that's going to push you a little bit, right? But we'll break it into segments. So like for instance, with the money that we were paying back to my parents, I said, I don't want to give them any less than $10,000 on the first payment, because they didn't even know that it was coming, right? This was a total surprise to them. So I wanted it to be like so big and so exciting that it was really fun for us to be able to give it to them, and really exciting and memorable and just wonderful for them to receive. Okay, so again, if you're not paying back family and you're paying the bank, like there's not quite that emotional, like, oh, they're going to be so excited that I paid them back. But it still can be really huge for you to say, I just made this payment today of $5,000 or of $10,000, and to just watch that student loan just get knocked down, right? So it's really fun to be able to do things like that. And then once you have your date, right, you set your goal and you're going to have this certain amount of money saved up and you've got your date in mind, then it becomes a race. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are competitive. Say hi right here. Yeah, so a little bit competitive. And if I have a deadline on something, then you better believe I'm going to make it, if not surpass it. And if part of my goal and my ambition is to surpass it, then you better believe I'm going to do it. So I think that that's a huge motivator for a lot of people, is to know like, okay, I'm not looking at $50,000, but I am going to save like a maniac. Like everything extra is going into this savings account and it's all earmarked and tagged. And as soon as I hit $5,000, I'm hitting it on my student loan. And it's going to be so awesome, right? It's going to be so awesome to see that dollar amount go down. So I think that these strategies are just really motivating, rather than saying, okay, so I owe $300 every month and I'm going to pay $350 every month. And you commit that you're just going to do that forever. Like there's no excitement to that. There's no energy to that. There's nothing that's pushing you and driving you to hit it faster or do more. It's just like this drudgery of it, that knowing like, yeah, I'm putting extra towards it and I'm still not getting ahead. Like it still is so draining. So what I recommend is to make it a game. Make it as fun as you can. Turn it into a race, right? Set those milestones for yourself and say everything extra is going there until I hit 5,000 or 7,500 or 10,000 or whatever it is, right? And then when you hit your goal, say, now for the next couple of months, I am putting money away and I'm going to go on a vacation, or I'm going to treat myself to something that I've been depriving myself of while I was trying to hit that goal. Because you have to give yourself some reward, some congratulations for all of your hard work, and to know that it's like even more motivating to hit that goal faster so that you can have your rewards sooner, right? So if it is like I'm going on a vacation and I'm taking, my husband or wife or boyfriend, girlfriend or sister or whatever, we're going away to Mexico for a weekend, as soon as I pay off that extra $5,000 on my student loans, and you're like looking at the calendar like, oh, I so want to go on that vacation, and wouldn't this time of year be so great if I could just pay off the student loan a month or two earlier? And you are going to find a way how to do it. Like, you just are. When you have that deadline set and you have the reward dangling on the other side of it, you're going to work your ass off to hit that. You are. It drives you. And let that drive you. Let it get you there faster. So then another thing that I recommend, if the loans are a little bit smaller, again, it's kind of making it a race. When my husband's loans got down to, with less than $10,000 probably, I started just every time that we had extra money, I would just make a payment on the loan. So it was fun because it was like, no, I'm not going to pay that extra interest. There's no way. They're not going to get me for that. I'm paying an extra $300. I'm paying an extra $150. I'm paying an extra whatever. And I would sometimes make like 2 or 3 or 4 payments in 1 month. But it was fun. It made it exciting. And it was like, oh my gosh, guess what? I think in another like 2 weeks, we're going to have this one paid off now, right? So it made it more exciting to do that and to challenge ourselves and to be like, how much more do you think we can pay on it this month? So I definitely think that that's something that you can do. It's a really fun way to be able to get those loans paid off. So find those ways that make it a competition, that make it a race, that give you a reward, that push you a little outside of your comfort zone, that drive you to do just a little bit more. And I think that you're just going to find that paying off those student loans feels so much more rewarding along the way. You don't have to wait until the last payment is made if you have those things built in along the way for part of the process. So those are just some of my thoughts about paying back student loans. I hope that you found it valuable. I hope maybe you can implement some of those in your student loan payoff strategies. And I would love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts. Comment below. Give me a thumbs up. You can find me hanging out on Facebook or on Instagram at Hey Jill Emanuel. And I hope to see y'all later. Bye.